Today we will talk about one of the easiest ways to approach walking bass dance, which is using chord tones and chromatic approach notes. A typical simple walking bass dance consists of chord notes, meaning that we have 4 beats and 4 notes to play. The logic behind the walking bass line is creating a flow, creating a walking feeling from one chord to the other one. To do that in a simple sense, we need to place those chord tones and approach notes into that 4 note space we have. The most basic chord progression for jazz is 2-5-1. For those of you who are not familiar with that concept, with that chord tones concept, you can search harmonizing major scale to get the further information you need. In the key of C major, we will play as 2 chords D minor 7, G dominant 7, and C major. Let's get back to that 4 note thing we have talked about earlier. We will play chord tones at the first and third beats and approach notes at the second and fourth beats. As the name implies, approach notes are in between notes we use to connect chord tones, different chord tones and different chords in the chord progression. Of course, we can choose many different approach notes, but today we will talk about one of them, which is the chromatic approach notes. We can use the chromatic note above or below from our choosing target note. For example, if our target note is D, we can either play D flat or D sharp to arrive to that D note. Alright, let's construct a bass line using those techniques. Our progression is 2, 5, 1, 1, and then it repeats itself. For the 2 chord, we are playing D minor 7. Now we need to place chord tones to first and third beats. Let's place the root note at the first beat and perfect fifth at the third beat. We will play a chromatic approach note at the second beat. We can either play the 6th fret of the D string to approach that A note. We can either play A flat or A sharp. We can do this, or we can play this. I will play the 8th fret, the A sharp. What we'll play at the next measure depends on the next chord we have, the next measure we have, because we need to walk to that next chord. Now we will play G dominant 7th at the next chord, at the next measure. If we choose to play the root note at the 5th fret of the D string, we can arrive to that note either from the 6th fret or 4th fret, from below or from above. Let's analyze our line from the top. Root note, chromatic approach note from above, perfect fifth. If I choose to play chromatic approach note from above to arrive to that target note G, approach note, root note, I will have that nice chromatic motion at the D string, right? Which will fit our needs and can sound jazzy, which is a good thing at this time. For the third beat of the second measure, let's choose major third of that dominant chord, which is B. We can approach that note either from C or B flat. Let's choose B flat this time. From the top, for the third measure, the C major, let's do something unorthodox and choose something different from the root note for the first beat. Let's choose the perfect fifth at the 5th fret of the D string, which is G. We can approach that from G flat or G sharp. We can use both of them. Let's choose G flat or the F sharp. From the top, now I'm at the first beat of the third measure of the C major triad. For the third beat, let's choose major third of our triad and approach it from the 3rd fret, right? For the next measure, we will play C major again. Let's choose the root note this time and approach it from the 2nd fret of the A string, the B. Now I'm at the first beat of the fourth measure. Let's play the octave at the third beat and approach it from the fourth fret. Alright. Now the first beat of the next measure is D again. I can play that D at the 7th fret of the G string and of course approach it from the 6th fret. Which will give me another chromatic motion at the G string. We'll start with D, the root note of our 2 chord. We'll continue with chromatic approach note from above, perfect fifth, approach note, root note of our G chord. Then we'll play chromatic approach note at the 1st fret of the A string. To that major third we have. Then we'll play the 4th fret to approach that perfect fifth of the C major triad. Then we'll play the 3rd fret to approach that major third. Then we'll play the 2nd fret to approach that root note. Then again we will play 4th fret of the G string to approach that root note C, and then we will play the 6th fret to approach that root note. Of course, let's play that with a backing track. One cool thing about chromatic approach notes is you don't have to learn any additional theory in order to apply them, but they come with a caveat, of course. They can sound out of key if you use them way too much. But of course, if you have just started, that's not your concern at this time. Just concentrate on playing the right notes at the right beats. Alright, that's it for now. See you on the next one.